My goddess boss actually asked me to pretend to be her boyfriend and meet her parents. However, when her dad threw the cup and angrily scolded me, I blurted out that she looked like an orphan. At this moment, her hand trembled slightly in my palm. I dragged her away from the villa without looking back. The goddess boss, who never spoke to me, suddenly blocked my way. I thought she had discovered that I secretly had a crush on her. But instead, she needed something from me, for me to pretend to be her boyfriend and accompany her to meet her parents. All expenses paid, with a daily allowance of 500. Along the way, I sneaked glances at Jennifer Delaney's side profile. Her high nose bridge, slightly pursed lips, and long lashes fluttering. I felt a little dazed, not expecting that I would be going to meet Jennifer's parents. After more than 6 hours of driving, we arrived at a villa area. The security guard at the entrance greeted Jennifer and raised the barrier to let us in. I was stunned and stared at her. Jennifer, slightly embarrassed, quickly explained, "Stop staring! I never said our family is poor. Boss, I want to talk to you about the matter of emotional damages again. Progress?" Jennifer laughed and punched me. I followed Jennifer into the villa, carrying a bag full of gifts. The interior was decorated in traditional Chinese style, with antique redwood furniture. Incense burned inside, its shape bent by the wind. "Is this the boyfriend you found?" An elegant middle-aged man sat at a stone tea table, brewing tea. "Yes, we've been together since university." "What does he do?" "He's a partner at my company." "Is he mute? Doesn't he speak?" Uncle Delaney finally looked up, casting a disdainful glance at me. "Hello, Uncle Delaney. I'm Luke Dawson, Jennifer's university classmate. And now I'm starting a business with Jennifer." I placed the gifts at the entrance and respectfully bowed to Uncle Delaney. "You can see it too. You and Jennifer are from different worlds. You two aren't suited for each other." Uncle Delaney took a sip of tea and continued. "Jennifer, go meet your Uncle Tony's son tomorrow." "Which Uncle Tony is that? A business partner we couldn't work with?" Jennifer glanced disdainfully at Uncle Delaney. He ignored her and continued brewing tea. "Old Delaney, how about I steam some fish for you today?" A young woman's voice, sweetly cooing. Jennifer glanced at the kitchen and rolled her eyes. "You don't just have me as a daughter. Why are you so reluctant to part with the kid from your mistress?" "I should have never given birth to you. Don't think you'll get a penny from me. Get out." A teacup shattered at our feet. "As if you've been raising me all these years?" Jennifer's fists clenched, trembling slightly. I wrapped her hand in my palm and said, "Uncle Delaney, Jennifer and I have been together since university, and I always thought she was an orphan." I paused, and Uncle Delaney stopped pouring tea, holding his hand midair. Before he could speak, I continued, "Now, I finally understand. Don't worry, Uncle. As long as I'm by Jennifer's side, I won't let her do anything she doesn't want to. I love her and am willing to do anything for her. We'll live well, and we don't need your filthy money." I said it all in one breath, dragging Jennifer out of the villa. "Get out and don't come back!" At the car door, I looked down at our tightly clasped hands, and blood rushed to my head. Embarrassed, I whistled and looked around, pretending to casually release her hand. But my palm was already covered in sweat. "Sorry." In the car, Jennifer, with red eyes, tucked her hair behind her ear, apologetically saying, "The boss has only one way to express apologies." Jennifer turned her head, her big eyes filled with confusion. "Add money." I looked at Jennifer with utmost sincerity, and she smiled and punched me again. "Always about adding money. What does a single man need so much money for?" "To marry a wife. The housing prices are so high. I need to save some for the bride price." Jennifer hit me a few more times. Hey, if you hit me again, I'll call the police." I dodged while threatening her. Tears welled up in Jennifer's eyes, and in the end, they fell, landing in my heart. "How about I lend you my shoulder to lean on?" I straightened up, patted my shoulder, and looked at Jennifer with a heroic posture. "How much?" "Let me see if I can afford it." Jennifer burst into laughter, teasing. "For others, 1 million or 10 million wouldn't be too much. But for you, it's fine. Even if you don't give money. She reached out, and her hand was about to touch my face. I wanted to grab that hand tightly, but an image of Jennifer and I being strangers flashed uncontrollably in my mind. Just before it touched my face, I still chose to lean back, pressing my back tightly against the car door. In Jennifer's eyes, I was probably just an innocent man being forced into something. Jennifer couldn't help but laugh loudly. "Boss, feeling better now?" I asked softly. Jennifer nodded slightly. I got out of the car and opened the driver's door. "Come on, let's switch seats. I'll take you to eat something good." On the way, I tried to lighten the mood, even telling her about the time I wet the bed in elementary school and made a perfect round puddle. But we both tacitly avoided mentioning my earlier heartfelt confession. The car stopped in front of a fresh meat barbecue shop behind Jennifer's high school. "Do you know this shop?" Jennifer asked, surprised. I smiled slightly, squinting my eyes, and nodded. This was Jennifer's favorite little shop, a small place that had been open for over 10 years. I had come here alone before, and on the wish wall, I found a sticky note Jennifer had written. It was a blank piece of paper, with only Jennifer's signature and the date. Back then, she probably didn't even dare to make a wish, right? The meat sizzled on the grill. When Jennifer reached out to flip it, I lightly tapped her. She pouted at me, unhappily. My heart skipped a beat, and the oil splashed onto my hand, and I only realized it was painful afterward. To cover the awkwardness, I smiled and placed a large piece of meat on Jennifer's plate. "I grilled it! Try it!" The meat on Jennifer's plate had already piled up into a small mountain. It seemed even more awkward. She looked at the plate, then at me. I awkwardly scratched my head and continued to focus on grilling the meat. Jennifer picked up a piece of meat, took a bite. "This one's delicious," she said as she picked up the meat and held it out to me. I closed my eyes, gritted my teeth, opened my mouth wide, and ate the piece of meat. "Boss, give me a dozen beers." I opened my eyes and saw Jennifer raising her hand, shouting at the bartender, "Make sure they're cold!" She didn't forget to add, "You're about to get your period, so drink less. Boss, make them not cold!" Through the smoke, the girl in a professional suit with delicate makeup slowly turned back into the person I first met. I noticed her when we started university. She was carrying a big bag that could fit her whole body inside. She was alone handling her enrollment and student loan. She was beautiful, and many senior guys surrounded her with ill intentions. Yes, I was one of them. "Hey, what are you thinking? Come on, drink." After a few drinks, it was like nothing had happened at the villa earlier. Between clinking glasses, we were still good brothers starting a business together. After leaving the restaurant, it was completely dark outside. Jennifer had drunk too much and leaned on me. I supported her with one hand and handed over my ID to the front desk with the other. The hotel receptionist looked at me warily, as if she was ready to call the police at any moment. She glanced at Jennifer in her exquisite professional suit, and then at me in my trendy outfit from Taobao. The receptionist's gaze was quite fitting for my current self. In the elevator, Jennifer was fully nestled in my arms. Her faint fragrance made me greedily want to inhale more. I helped her stagger to the door. The few dozen steps from the elevator to the room felt like an eternity. I had to support her, but my hands didn't know where to put them. Finally, I arrived, took out the room key, and opened the door. I supported her with one hand and closed the door with the other. Bang! As soon as the door closed, Jennifer crossed her arms and placed them on my shoulders. Because she was drunk, her face was flushed, and her eyes were half closed. Her long eyelashes fluttered with every breath. She was now fully leaning on me, and her warm breath sprayed on my neck. It was hot and ticklish. For a moment, I felt like all my blood was boiling, half rising and half sinking. I couldn't help but let out a low growl. "Jennifer, do you even know what you're doing?" I placed my hands on her shoulders and pulled her back a little. I didn't want her to notice the change in me. I bent over, using a strange and awkward posture to toss her onto the bed. After covering her with a blanket, I quickly left. Even a second more, and I was afraid I might turn into a werewolf under the full moon. I tossed and turned the whole night, constantly thinking about how Jennifer had collapsed in my arms last night. Just thinking about it made me react, and I took 3 cold showers that night. I always thought of myself as a pure love warrior, but I didn't expect that at over 20, I would still be so overwhelmed by lust. After taking another cold shower, I took a few deep breaths and knocked on Jennifer's door. I knocked for several minutes before she slowly came to open it. Jennifer didn't ask who was at the door and groggily came to open it. The moment she opened the door, I caught a glimpse of her in a white shirt. I shouted loudly and slammed the door shut. "Jennifer, put on your clothes!" My chest hurt from how angry I was. What the hell was she doing every day? Even though she claimed I was her male best friend to the outside world, I was still a man, a young man in his prime. I took deep breaths over and over, thinking about the achievements I hadn't finished in games, the mounts I hadn't collected, the figurines still on their way, the fish I couldn't catch. But the more I tried to think of something else, the more Jennifer's soft and sweet appearance kept appearing in my mind. I really wanted to hold her in my arms. Or maybe I should just go all in and confess. Tell her that I've liked her ever since the first time I saw her in university. To be by her side, wherever she worked part-time, I would also go there. No matter where she was, I would make sure I stayed within 100 meters of her. But I still didn't dare. After all, there was the example of Jason Smith. That guy confessed to Jennifer in their third year of university and was rejected. After that, they didn't speak a word to each other for the rest of their time at university. I had tested her many times in the past. "What would you do if a friend confessed to you?" I had asked. She said she had a fear of close relationships. I always knew that if I confessed and was rejected, I wouldn't be able to stay by her side anymore. I comforted myself, thinking that being her male best friend was also not bad. In high school, I was a rich, handsome guy with many admirers. Even in university, I had girls confessing to me. Some girls even said they were willing to help me pay off my student loans. I was so scared I refused immediately. After all, I couldn't let go of my hardworking university student image. I just wanted to be by Jennifer's side, no matter what role I played. My story with Jennifer goes back to our first year. I had noticed her and couldn't help but steal glances at her. She was very aloof, always going about things alone. After the military training, she found a part-time job at the school cafeteria. No pay, but she got 2 meals a day. She also took up some leaflet distribution work and training center gigs. She was busy every day. I shamelessly invited her for a cup of lemon tea from Mixu Bing Cheng. I relentlessly begged her to let me help her make money. She sized me up, her gaze stopping at my AJ sneakers. My mind raced. "I bought these from PDD. Don't you think they're great? Only 30 yuan, free shipping." After a brief silence, I finally added her on WeChat. From then on, I became Jennifer's little brother. "Boss, do you have anything to do this weekend?" "Boss, what time are you off work? I'll pick you up." Because of my hard work, I was even selected for the scholarship in my second year. I went on stage and declined. The class supervisor thought I was too shy, so I secretly found the supervisor and showed off a little. The supervisor gave me an "I get it" look. From then on, whenever there were class activities, the supervisor would unintentionally assign Jennifer and me to the same group. Although I was the most familiar with Jennifer in the class, she still kept a sense of distance. I had never seen her parents. When filling out forms, the mother section was listed as deceased. The father section was left blank. I thought she was an orphan. Who would have thought? She was actually a rich second generation. On the way, I kept sneaking glances at Jennifer, who was asleep in the passenger seat. I kept thinking about what had happened yesterday. Jennifer's dad must have cheated, and their father-daughter relationship was very strained. Even while asleep, Jennifer's brows were still furrowed. I really wanted to solve all the problems troubling her. When I went to work on Monday, my colleagues had no idea that I had pretended to be the boss's boyfriend and went with her to her hometown. After the morning meeting, they all came to vent. Did the boss get rejected on a blind date over the weekend? Why does she look like she's about to kill someone? I feel the same way. She had a black face the whole time. I was so scared that when I reported my progress, I didn't dare to even breathe. "Luke, you're close to the boss. What's going on with her?" A few people crowded around me in the break room, gossiping. I glared at them. Get back to work! After sending those gossipers away, I glanced at Jennifer's office. Silently holding a cup of coffee, I returned to my desk. Luke? Bro, Kyle smiled at me obsequiously. Bro, this file. Please take it to the boss for a signature. Why don't you go? I glared at him in anger. I'm scared. Please, I'll buy you drinks tonight. Fine. I took the file and went to knock on Jennifer's office door. Jennifer's aura is definitely that of a big boss. She doesn't need to get angry to intimidate people. Even someone as big as Kyle, who's 185 centimeters tall, doesn't dare to approach her casually. When I opened the door, I saw Jennifer on the phone. Thank you, Uncle Tony. He's back in the country. Of course, I have to show him some hospitality. Don't worry, leave it to me. Jennifer's tone was gentle, and her smile was radiant. Truly, she was my goddess. Even though she had a black face this morning, once she answered a client's call, she instantly turned into a gentle little bunny. Jennifer gestured for me to sit on the sofa. She chatted for a few more minutes before hanging up. Boss, I need your signature. Jennifer didn't acknowledge me, but instead closed the office door. As she turned, she adjusted her shirt. But as I looked closely, it wasn't just a simple adjustment. She unbuttoned one of her buttons. What was once just a glimpse of her collarbone was now showing the tassel of a necklace on her chest. My mind buzzed, and everything in front of me seemed to blur. She slowly walked over, flicking her hair. The collar of her shirt widened even more with her movements. I nervously turned my head away. Jennifer sat next to me. When I opened my eyes, she was so close I could feel her presence. Where should I sign? Jennifer took the file from my hand, and I could feel her arm brushing against mine. The faint fragrance of her perfume, like fresh grass and wood, rushed into my nose. I nervously said, This? Here. Here? Jennifer's voice had a slight tease in it. The open file was placed between us. Yes, here. I quickly pointed to the spot where she needed to sign. Done. Jennifer lowered her head, signed, and then handed the file back to me. Thanks, boss. I hurriedly escaped from her office. Luke, bro, are you feeling okay? Kyle took the file and asked with concern. I'm fine! I snapped. I couldn't calm down the entire day. Every time I thought about how Jennifer had looked earlier, my heart would race. When I got home that night, I grabbed a few bottles of beer. I was conflicted about whether I should confess. Jason's failure had left me with lingering fears. As for what Jennifer said, that she might be single for life, I didn't know how to start the conversation. And I had always pretended to be poor, clinging to her. Was I supposed to tell her that our company's biggest client was actually my dad? I shamelessly stuck around her. Was I just coveting her? Thinking back to when Jason was rejected, thoroughly humiliated, I still felt afraid. Even though I had no title now, I was her officially approved male best friend. After a few drinks, I was feeling dizzy when an unfamiliar number called. Hello, who's this? I politely asked as I picked up the phone. I'm your dad! I'm your grandpa! Good son, your dad's back! Jason's voice came through the receiver. Still as annoying as when we were in school. Son, you actually came back? Was M Country not your type? The issue of who was the father was something Jason and I would never settle. Came back for a blind date! Ha 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 ha! Which unlucky girl? I couldn't imagine which good girl could look at Jason, the man who had turned into a playboy after being rejected by Jennifer. You'll know in the future. Just letting you know. Your dad's back. All right, when you come back, I'll buy you drinks. The next day, I ran into Jason at the office. He waved at me and then went straight into Jennifer's office. Wait a minute, could Jason's blind date be Jennifer? Damn it, Jason, you're actually stabbing me in the back? I kept staring at Jennifer's office. Luke! Bro! Luke! I looked up at Kyle. Bro, you poked a hole in the contract. I realized then that I had pressed too hard, and the contract on the table was pierced by my pen. Luke, bro, I heard this guy might be the son of our new client's boss, and he's going to have a blind date with our boss. Yeah. If this works out, will our company turn into a retirement home? Our boss is really working hard, don't you think, Luke? I didn't respond and gave them a stern look. They quickly fell silent, but I could still hear their whispers. A woman like the boss isn't something we working men can fantasize about. Poor Luke, already heartbroken before it even started. I bet the boss will end up with Luke. If I win, you guys owe me a month's worth of milk tea. If I lose, I'll get you guys a month's worth. I'm afraid your salary won't be enough. Let me tell you, women don't just look at appearance when picking men. Although Luke's more handsome than Liu, his overall abilities aren't enough. I could only pretend I didn't hear. Overall abilities? Maybe I should just throw money at the company and buy it? Finally, I saw the two of them walking out of the office, laughing. Jennifer stood in front, clapped her hands a few times. Everyone stopped their work and looked at her. Let me introduce everyone. This is our new sales director, Jason. Please welcome him. After the brief welcome ceremony, I blocked Jason in the bathroom. Damn it, Jason. Is your blind date Jennifer? Yeah, my dad introduced her to me. At first, I didn't want to come back, but my dad said she's my college classmate, named Jennifer. I caught the next flight back. Jason grinned smugly. Good, son. Don't you think we're fated? She rejected me in college, but here I am, still with her. Damn you! I cursed through clenched teeth, throwing punches at him. What the hell? You won't chase her, but you don't want anyone else to either? Are you sick? Jason wiped the blood from his mouth. We've been brothers. I'll let you have these 3 punches. But if you hit me again, I'll hit back. Before I could strike again, someone knocked on the bathroom door. Jason opened it, shot me a glare, and left. This scene felt familiar back in sophomore year, Jason had remarked. Dudu and Jennifer look alike. At that time, I didn't know why, but my fist landed on Jason. Thinking back, it was the feeling of someone else coveting what I liked. Jason had practically become Jennifer's shadow at the company. To find Jason, all you had to do was find Jennifer. Every afternoon, Jason would order milk tea for everyone. His relationships with the staff were impeccable. Handsome, wealthy, and bringing big contracts to the company. Our company is indeed already preparing for the next round of bidding for the Smith Group. In the past, I was the most diligent employee in the company. As long as I thought that Jennifer was waiting for me in the office, I almost wanted to live at work. Now, I wanted to live at the office even more because I had to keep an eye on Jennifer. Every night, I would find various excuses to call or text Jennifer. I'd make up problems, acting as if I cared about the country and the people. Jennifer could no longer bear it, and after Monday's meeting, she stopped me. If you keep calling me in the middle of the night to pick fights, I'll cut your salary. You tyrant! I immediately shut up. Why did my tone sound a bit shy? I'm doing this for our company. You promised to give me shares. Are you trying to ruin the company and marry into a rich family? I was a bit emotional, and my voice was louder than usual. What are you looking at? Get back to work! I scanned the room, and if my gaze could fire bullets, they would all be dead. I angrily returned to my desk, took out my little toy dragon, and squeezed it. I slapped it down. I had bought it with Jennifer when we were walking through the night market on my birthday. Looking at it, puffing up its cheeks in anger, slowly standing up, I silently made a resolution. Jason, let's settle this. Either you die, or I live. Before I could think of a plan, Jennifer had already taken Jason out for business. Jennifer used to take me out. I texted Jason, let's have drinks tonight. Jason, is this a banquet of the Hongmen feast? No need for so much talk, the sun wouldn't dare to come. Son, I'll wait for you. That evening, I met Jason at a small bar near the office. When we first got our business license, Jennifer and I celebrated here. Later, whenever we closed a new deal, Jennifer would invite me here for a meal. After Jason walked in, he looked around. When he saw me, he came over and slapped my shoulder. Son, you see your old man, and you don't even say a word? He sat down and took a sip of the craft beer in front of him. It tastes pretty good. Didn't expect such a small place to have good quality. What do you really think of Jennifer? I was holding a beer mug, the wall of the cup covered with small water droplets, but I didn't feel the cold at all. Jennifer is my dream goddess. As long as I can be by her side, I'm willing to do anything. Jason tilted his head back and drank most of his beer in one go. I like Jennifer. I tried to calm my heartbeat. This was the second time I was revealing the secret I had hidden in my heart. The last time was in college. A charming lady. A gentleman's perfect match. Even though we're brothers, a woman isn't something you can just have. Jason straightened up, dropping the playful attitude he had before. But let's talk about this. You've been around Jennifer for so many years and you're still just her male best friend? What does that mean? Jason had a wicked smile. It means Jennifer doesn't love you! I suddenly felt like the beer in my hand had turned into a block of ice. The bone-chilling cold reached my heart. All this time, I was still Jennifer's male best friend. In her eyes, I had never been in her selection range. Had I? Jason wisely changed the topic, and we began talking about our college days. But Jennifer was someone we could never avoid talking about. During our dormitory late-night talks, we always talked about this Ice Queen. She had always been mysterious, and Jason went to great lengths to find her part-time jobs. Eventually, I drank too much. Maybe when I'm feeling down, my drinking tolerance gets worse. Alcohol gives courage, and somehow, after drinking too much, I called Jennifer. I don't remember what happened after that. When I opened my eyes, I was lying on Jennifer's sofa. I could hear some noise coming from the kitchen. I followed the sound, and Jennifer was making porridge. She turned around, smiled slightly, and said, "You sit down first. It'll be ready soon." I had gotten up a bit too hurriedly, and I felt a bit dizzy. It seemed like it was just like in my dream. Only when she placed a bowl of white porridge in front of me, with a little salted vegetable on the side, did I finally believe everything was real. The steaming porridge's vapor brushed past me, warm and moist. Although I was eating the porridge, I was still unsatisfied. Jennifer's phone rang. "Okay, I'll be ready soon." Kyle booked the flight. After hanging up, Jennifer told me, "I'm giving you the day off today. Don't drink like that again." "You're going on a business trip?" "Yes." Jennifer was putting on her shoes by the entrance. "Going with Jason?" "Yes." Before she left, Jennifer turned around and said, "Just close the door when you leave. You can rest today." I froze with the spoon in my hand. This porridge, the more I ate, the more tasteless it became. I felt like Jason wasn't as simple as he seemed. When I arrived at the office, I asked Kyle about the flight and hotel bookings. Kyle mysteriously said they had only booked one room at the hotel. His tone was like he was about to share some big news, and I couldn't stay calm. I bought the soonest flight to City A. Jason, that playboy, was particularly good at charming women. I didn't know what this bastard could do to Jennifer. When I got to the hotel where they were staying, I found them in the lobby. "The main character has arrived. I'll take my leave." Jason bowed to Jennifer. He patted my shoulder. "Good luck, brother." I stood frozen in place. What did that mean? "Well, I'm just here to deliver some documents." "You guys left in such a hurry that you forgot them." I couldn't think of a good excuse, so I just made up something. Where are the documents?" I pretended to search my bag, but of course, there was nothing in it. I must have left them in the car. Jennifer followed me to the garage. I sat in the driver's seat, pretending to search. Jennifer stood by, watching. Suddenly, Jennifer opened the car door and leaned half her body on me as she searched in the passenger seat. I nervously leaned back, trying to pull some distance between us. "What are you looking for?" I could feel my voice trembling from nerves. I couldn't hold back any longer, and with my right hand I cupped her neck and kissed her. It was sweet, very sweet, just as I had imagined. Finally couldn't hold back. When I reluctantly pulled away, gasping for air, Jennifer looked at me with a wistful gaze. "I thought you liked men?" "What did I do to give you that impression?" After saying that, I kissed her again. I had to let her know how dangerous it was to be alone with a man in a car at night. I loosely held her in my arms, afraid that if I got too close, she would notice something different about me. For a while, neither of us spoke, slowly calming our breathing and heartbeats. Jason, was he the one who came to use reverse psychology? Not a chance. I have matters to discuss with him. "Jennifer, I like you. Be with me." I already agreed to that last night. Jennifer smiled and kissed me on the cheek. Last night you pulled me and said that if I didn't agree, you'd crash into something. Jennifer burst out laughing. I forced a smile, feeling like I could scrape out a 3-bedroom apartment with my toes. Anyway, I lost my memory last night, so whatever you say goes. I closed my eyes, trying to blur the feeling of Jennifer's warm, soft body in my arms. But without being able to see, the sensation became unusually sharp. I'm willing. Jennifer turned my head towards her. I said, I'm willing to be with you. That night, I told her about my situation. Actually, I was also from a wealthy family. The president of Dawson Group is my dad. Our company had previously received a lot of business from Dawson Group subsidiaries, and it was me who quietly handled the connections behind the scenes. During the day, I worked at Jennifer's company, and at night, I dealt with business for Dawson Group. I just wanted to help her as much as I could. She nestled into my arms, smiling at me. She said that she had actually been moved a long time ago. She just didn't dare to be sure whether I liked her. And she was also afraid that if we couldn't end up together, we wouldn't even be able to stay friends. Jennifer finally began to tell me about her family. Her mom and dad started from selling fried street food. When she was young, they worked in all kinds of weather and finally earned their first bucket of gold. Later, they opened a hot pot restaurant, and her dad seized the opportunity and entered real estate. That was when her dad got a mistress, and her dad even beat her mom in front of her. He would hit her while cursing, complaining that her mom wasn't well groomed and was embarrassing to take out. Jennifer stood in front of her mom, taking the hits from her dad. But later, the mistress still called her mom every night. In the end, her mom hanged herself on New Year's Eve. Jennifer was in middle school at the time, and the mistress's daughter was already in 5th grade. Jennifer never talked about these things. And I had never asked, because I knew that no matter what her family was like, I loved her, and that was enough. Suddenly, I remembered that Jennifer actually went back to see her dad. I sat up straight. Then why did you go back? If my dad did that, I would definitely cut ties with him. Going back to see him was simply a joke. Because the company has my mom's hard work and I want to take it back. Jennifer's smile froze, and her gentle gaze slowly turned cold. What can I do?
Just stay by my side.
Before I could react, Jennifer lightly kissed the corner of my mouth like a dragonfly skimming the water. I kissed her back fiercely. After a while, I reluctantly pulled away. Bro, your disguise is so successful. I used to think you were really saving up for a wife's dowry.
Jennifer laughed so hard in my arms, her body trembling. It's all for you.
I curled my finger and lightly tapped her forehead. I will definitely take back the company. Jennifer looked at me firmly, and I unconsciously tightened my grip on her hand. Jennifer slept soundly in my arms. From time to time, she would snuggle closer to me. She slept well, but I struggled, only managing to sleep a little just before dawn. Jason was quite tactful, and didn't call until near noon, asking if we wanted to have lunch together. In the car, Jennifer and I sat in the back seat, like elementary school kids, secretly dating under the watchful eyes of our parents. You two can hold hands openly. You're both grown-ups. Why are you still shy?
Jason glanced at the rearview mirror and shot us a look.
Well, I'm not gonna hold back then. With that, I pulled Jennifer close and kissed her. Hey, little wife, you've transformed? Jason teased from the rearview mirror. Drive properly, Jennifer and I said in unison. The destination was Smith Group. When we entered, Jason said to me, "Let me borrow your wife for a bit. I need to show off in front of my dad. Wife and car, not for lending." In the meeting room, Jennifer spoke confidently about the plan. She detailed the plans for Delaney Real Estate and Smith Group. She even went so far as to reveal her background. Tony always stayed silent for a moment before slowly saying, "Helping you isn't impossible, but why should I help?" After saying this, he looked at Jason, who was sitting beside him. I stood up and bowed. "Hello, Uncle Tony. I'm Luke." Dawson Group's Dawson is his dad. Jason impatiently added, "Fine. I'll help an old friend." When we came out, Jason couldn't help but complain. "Of course, you need to have a love brain to date. Look at you, already a married man, yet you won't let me have any fun." I ignored him and tightly held Jennifer's hand. I had waited so many years to hold these hands openly. Now that I had them, I would never let go. Jennifer glared at me coquettishly. All right, all right. You two stop showing off in front of me. Boss, what's next? Let Delaney Real Estate have a chance. My dad's been eyeing a piece of land. I can talk to him about it. Before Jennifer could finish, I continued. All right, bro. I thought you only knew how to chase women and didn't care about family matters. Hey, just talk. Don't be so hands-on all the time. I caught the fist Jason extended toward me. Sure enough, Delaney Real Estate started raising funds to jointly develop the land with Dawson Group. It was in a new first-tier city, with the advantages of being by the river and in a top school district. This land was a clear gold mine. Now, Dawson Group was willing to give up half of the piece of meat it held. After all, this was land that Delaney Real Estate couldn't even reach. Smith Group wasn't idle either, and like Dawson Group, it also extended an olive branch to Delaney Real Estate. Jennifer endured her disgust, and her relationship with Delaney had eased considerably. Delaney even felt that by using his precious daughter to charm the two young masters of Smith Group and Dawson Group, he had a chance to sit at the table. Uncle Tony and my dad agreed that if he managed to secure the land, they would invest in Delaney Real Estate, relieving him of any financial worries. I was busy cooking in the kitchen, and Jennifer was peeling garlic beside me. Suddenly, I remembered the first time I went to meet her dad. Jennifer, did I mess up when I met your dad last time? Let's just say, by accident, it turned out better. After all, I went back and smoothed things over with my dad. He didn't believe it at all. And you? Jennifer placed the peeled garlic on the chopping board. I like it a little spicier. Your wish is my command. Jennifer told me about her recent happenings. When I went back with her, it was the first time after her college graduation she met her dad, so a conflict was inevitable. As for meeting Jason for a blind date, they secretly had lunch with Delaney during work hours. She acted as if she finally understood her father's good intentions, and Delaney slowly began to drop his guard. But in the plan, I wasn't part of it. Because of Dawson Group's influence in the industry, that's why things were progressing so smoothly. Do you think your dad will? Once I figured out the key, I realized that this was exactly the woman I liked. If he managed things properly, this would be a deal with no risk and a guaranteed profit. But unfortunately, Delaney is not that kind of person,
Jennifer said while eating. It was as if the person she mentioned was completely unrelated.
Before the bidding began, someone anonymously reported that Delaney Real Estate was engaging in illegal bidding and attempting bribery. It just so happened that the inspection team arrived. This investigation uncovered that Delaney Real Estate's president, Delaney, had committed a huge amount of tax evasion. In previous projects, there had been illegal demolitions, violent evictions, and other violations. Delaney Real Estate instantly began to crumble. Jennifer rushed back to stabilize the situation and used the company's bidding funds to pay back taxes. The whole company underwent a major internal audit. During this audit, a large amount of evidence of Delaney's illegal activities was uncovered. Jennifer, with great resolve, turned in the materials to the prosecution, sealing Delaney's fate. I sent in an audit team from our own company to assist Jennifer with the investigation. In the end, Delaney was sentenced to 20 years in prison. While Delaney Real Estate suffered significant damage, it managed to survive. After the verdict, Jennifer and I met Delaney once. When we met for the first time, he was still a scholarly middle-aged man, but now his hair had turned mostly white. Jennifer, I'm sorry to you and your mother. Delaney's eyes were red and his voice trembled. You have 20 years to reflect. By the way, the mistress you were supporting sold your villa and all your collections, and the money has already been laundered. Delaney, I've already notarized the papers, and we've severed our father-daughter relationship. I'm here today just to inform you. Beneath the table, I was holding Jennifer's hand. I could feel her hand trembling slightly. After speaking, Jennifer tugged me away. I heard someone behind us call out sorrowfully, Jennifer. But we never turned back. Jennifer and I got married. I thought I would face some resistance, but to my surprise, my dad let out a sigh of relief. He said he had prepared himself for me to live a lonely life. Fortunately, I finally managed to win his approval and get my wife. On our wedding night, in bed, Jennifer was still teasing me for not confessing. I retorted, "Aren't you the same? Coveting my good looks, but too shy to say it. Luke, thank you. Because of you, I'm willing to fight against this world I hate once again." We were always afraid that if we took the next step, we would lose everything. But we always forgot that only by taking that step could we truly be together forever. I also went from being an employee of the company to a member of the boss's family. Tomorrow, I will make sure Kyle and the others see for themselves what it means to wait for the clouds to part and see the moon. Jennifer softly said in my arms, "It's not about waiting for the clouds to part. The moon was always shining on you. It turns out that when we met, the moon had already been shining on us."